Joe just became the first human character to wield his Digimon's signature weapon, and in doing so, became the new leader of the DigiDestined Chosen Children team. If you had told me a year ago that one of my favorite episodes of the new Digimon Adventure reboot was going to be the one about french fries, I would not have believed you. I wasn't expecting much other than a goofy episode about a fast food shop in the digital world, and this just blew me away with what Joe did. So let's talk about the episode. If this is your first time here, welcome, and please subscribe so I can get to 10,000 subscribers before my 1-year anniversary on YouTube this April. This episode was our first week seeing the entire cast of the 8 kids and their Digimon partners united. You might think this would mean we were getting into serious endgame stuff, but the show decided to ease us into the ensemble with a relatively light episode, and honestly I think this was for the best, getting to see everyone interact without a world-ending threat. There are a ton of lighthearted character moments, my favorite of which is Tailmon asking if Joe is actually the leader like he claims to be, or if that was supposed to be a joke. She was not in the team when there was that whole original feud between Izzy and Joe, realistically between Joe making it up. The kids find an oasis in the form of a fast food restaurant where Digimon rest like a pit stop on a road trip. We see non-violent Digimon, which is always welcome as it brings me back to the 1999 Adventure series. But then the show did something really cool with the lore where we even saw Digimon we usually regard as aggressive or evil like Tankmon just kind of relaxing, taking a pit stop. The characters learn that these are mercenary Digimon and that they're not inherently evil, it's just kind of their job. They're like freelancers. I thought this was super cool, and on top of that it made me think about characters we've met in the past up until now, like Minotauromon for example, since during that fight with Leomon we got some hints that he wasn't inherently evil. The squad goes into the little fast food shop and Joe is distraught to learn that the Digimon don't really care for french fries. Joe shares a weirdly sweet anecdote about how in between cram school and going home he'd use his little allowance to go buy french fries and how he'd cherish each bite as it was really a little escape between studying and his home life. I love this as a little bit of background for Joe, and then we meet Potamon, who is just as big a fan of french fries as Joe, if not bigger. The two get along super well, and so does Gomamon, and it made me imagine a version of Digimon where kids get more than one Digimon partner. It made me think about the other week with Mimi, Togemon, and Golemon, that trio, and now Joe, Gomamon, and Potamon as a trio. If the kids had secondary Digimon, let me know in the comments who you think they would get. Potamon learns that the french fries are being discontinued and storms off in a rage, and Potamon digivolves into Jagamon and begins terrorizing the oasis. The team help the weaker Digimon evacuate, so we get a lot of fun shots of the full ensemble doing their individual things, but it's Joe who really steps up, believing that Jagamon doesn't require traditional defeating, but instead needs healing and reasoning. And then it's here that things get really interesting. With the other weak Digimon safe from harm, Ikakumon evolves to Zudomon, and he and Joe get to work. We actually have Anjuomon arrive and fire a holy arrow not at Jagamon, but into Zudomon's hammer. This in itself is a really cool thing, having a holy Digimon infuse their energy into another Digimon's weapon, but it doesn't even end here. Joe is instructed by Anjuomon to put his heart into the hammer and transfer it to Jagamon, as if to purify it. Joe makes contact with Zudomon's hammer, which is glowing, and it causes Joe to glow as well with this cool aura. We then get Joe wielding the hammer himself as it slams into Jagamon. After an explosion, Jagamon is purified. Tai is able to confirm for us, the viewer, that, quote, the holy Digimon's power not only raised Zudomon's, but Joe's as well. This is fascinating for so many reasons. Like, will the holy Digimon be powering up other humans, not just Digimon? And will other humans be able to wield Digimon's weapons like Joe just did with Zudomon's hammer? How about Mimi wielding the flower cannon of Lilymon, or Tai somehow getting to pick up Wargreymmon's Draymon destroyers? It's super interesting. Tailmon then returns to the question from earlier in the episode about whether or not Joe is really the leader, but at this point in the episode it's no longer like a funny goof about Tailmon missing the first half of the show. Now it's this genuine question that Hikari is able to answer. She says he's our Senpai and our leader. Just a super awesome episode in my opinion. Who would have thought that the french fries episode would have so much heart? This is a 9 out of 10 episode for me personally. So what did you think about the new developments? Do you personally recognize Joe as the leader of the DigiDestined moving forward? Do you think other kids will wield their Digimon's weapons? And do you think the kids will get more power-ups from the Holy Digimon? As always, comment below and be sure to subscribe. Check back next week so we can unpack this new Digimon reboot together, episode by episode. Until then, take it easy.